Avengers. West Coast Avengers.
There's only one mantra that you all need to know. That's that one over there. See Todd, bye Todd.
Good evening, everybody. It's the West Coast Avengers. Well, this has been a weird one. I am technically, hello, Maddie. Hello, Tyler. Hello, Andy. I am technically not early because I thought I scheduled this for 7:15 p.m. Pacific, but I actually scheduled it for 6:15, and so it said that I was supposed to start half hour ago, 45 minutes ago. And so I quickly just switched the time, and now I'm here. Tyler, good evening. Matty! And then the other Matt. Hello, other Matt. There's Matt Martin, and there's Matt Martin. Yeah, that's weird because I thought I changed it. And when I hopped on the back end of the StreamYard just to kind of check the lighting and all that stuff, it said 6:15. So here we are. Technically, I'm either 45 minutes late or 15 minutes early. I've got my Timber City ginger beer. Doesn't that sound great? I love my Timber City ginger beer. That was as of less than an hour ago. That's strange. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Hello, Simon. Good evening. Good evening. We're going to have a fun one. Oh, Andrew's in the house. Hello, Andrew. Oh, hi, Robert McCallum. I promised I would never do that again, and I did it again. Oops, I did it again. Yes, I was feeling punctual today. I'm always feeling punctual. West Coast Dave, the West is the best. Thank you, Byron. Well, Josh, just stop driving and just watch the show from your car. I promise I'll be on by the time you still are home. I just finished watching the new episode of Agatha All Along. No spoilers. Great episode. The show's been fun. No stakes. And so no stakes means it's fun. I mean, not that any of these things should have stakes, unless you are eating dinner, I guess. Everyone in Walmart is listening. Hello, Walmart. Let me tell you about the special on aisle 15. We have 2% milk is on sale. Toilet paper is 4 times the price. Yeah, that's right, Johnson. Now we're going. We're going to get to the title of tonight's episode, and a little bit of clickbait, but also not. I'm fighting everybody. Clean up in aisle 5. Clean up in aisle 5. How's the microphone sounding? I've been having problems with my microphone. It sounds a little too echoey, and I wonder if it's the room or if the gain is not up. Have I thought about how I'm really the East Coast Avengers? Yes, I am the East Coast Avengers by birthright, but I don't live on the East Coast, Maddie. That's what you do. And I hope everybody's staying safe in Florida if you're hunkering down in your house or if you're getting the fuck out of the state. Man, it's not getting any better. It's only going to get worse. I'm living a lie. You living a lie, yeah. You living a lie, yeah. My lifestyle determines my death style. Rising tide. Thanks, David. Thank you. East Coast is the Beast Coast. East Coast is the coast of people that are living in cities that are way more expensive than they should be. But then again, that's every city in America. The Avengers assemble. Between baby feeds and apparently I'm the peanut gallery for the evening. That's fine, Maddie. We need that. What's up, Julian? Julian's in the house. Yes, we do. We go. My lifestyle determines my death style. I wanted to get a tattoo that's a tombstone on top of a pizza pie, and it says my pie style determines my death style. I still might. I just never got it. I'm going to be giving away two copies of the brand new Absolute Batman, otherwise known as Beefy McBatman, the Jim Lee cover and the Wes Craig cover. I read it about 3 or 4 hours ago whenever I got home from the comic booklet store, and it was really fucking good. Like, I'm stoked for whatever comes from this, wherever the story goes. They packed a whole lot into one issue. I'll say that. If East Coast is the best coast, then why is it always getting hit with hurricanes? That is a good question. Esco, what's going on, my friend? But this, I remember when 2011, 2012, whatever year it was, when they started the New 52 and Snyder and Capullo were doing the Batman book, and I hadn't bought a monthly Batman book, I don't know, in years. I don't remember, but I didn't know Scott Snyder. Maybe I'd read one of his books, but obviously I knew who Capullo was, being a Spawn fan for a long time. And I picked up the New 52, and man, that book took me for a ride. I loved it. I didn't love all of the storylines he did. Especially loved the first 10 issues, and then the death of the family was fantastic. I think year or is it year 1, year 0? Year 0. I think that's where it kind of lost me a little bit. But man, this comes right out of the gate. It's fresh. They're reinvigorating the character again, even though it's like, and I'm sorry to hear about that, Marsh, but I hope you're well. I hope your cruise was great. I'm going to talk about Joker. I won't talk spoilers, but I'm definitely going to talk about it. And I'm going to talk about some interesting aspects around how we look and how we think and how we feel, or how people want us to feel about movies that we've never seen. But anyway, back to Beefy Batman. Snyder, I like him as a writer, Scott Snyder. I think there are pieces of his writing that he's got his own tropes that he kind of, like, a lot of his stories follow the same kind of arcs, even if the characteristics are different of the story. But I like him as a writer. His pacing is great. I think Scott Snyder's best asset is his pacing. But I'm excited to give away 2 copies of this. I don't know if it's going to be a limited series. I know this first arc is part 1 of 5, but I haven't heard anything about it being an ongoing. And Nick Dragata is he's a good artist. He's a really good artist. He's not super flashy, but I don't know what the word is, that he's kind of like the clutch. He's a clutch artist. Let's say that. He's a I don't know. I can't think of a baseball player anymore that's a clutch player, but maybe somebody could a clutch hitter. Maybe he was like a Vladimir Guerrero. I don't fucking know. Anyway, sports. I don't fucking care about sports anymore. But let's go Mets. Sorry, Tyler. The Yankees. Art sale Nick's first issue. No. I think tomorrow's the preview. I think it's just a preview tomorrow, and then the art's going on sale real soon through Felix. I'll try and snag a page. It would be nice to own a page from this, but it's going to go fucking quick. It's going to go real quick. Yeah. Whatever, Tyler. Why don't you root for a team that maybe doesn't buy championships? Sorry. Skim reading emails. It's my thing. Yeah. I mean, the Yankees are everybody. They're America's team. Yeah, fuck the Royals. But let's talk about comics, okay? We're not going to talk about sports because I haven't given a shit about sports in a decade. I could talk about anything from like the year 1985 through probably 2010, and then I'm kind of clocked out. That is not the whole point of it's the point in modern sports. It is definitely not the point. Look at the 86 Mets. Perfect example of a team that was not bought. Look at the Bulls. They drafted Jordan. I believe they drafted Pippen, unless he would trade in his first year. They built that shit from the ground up. I mean, shit, I hate Tom Brady, but they didn't acquire him with money. Anyway, back to comic books. Beefy Batman, best book out this week, maybe the best book out this month. Lots of stuff happening right here on this channel in the next couple weeks. If you did not watch the Jim Mahfood, let me get his name right. Jimmy Jazzy, Jimmy Jams, Jazzy Jamie. There's a lot of J's going on. If you don't watch the interview last week and you didn't check out the Kickstarter, he's got a not Batman book. A not Batman book. It is a bootleg comic called Savage Street Vigilante. Savage Street Vigilante. It is on Kickstarter right now. His funding is kicking ass, but he just dropped a new variant cover by the Scotty Young, and it's a great cover. Let's take a look at the Kickstarter, and I will share that screen with you. I'm gonna show a lot of stuff tonight. We're gonna talk. You guys buckle up. I want you here for the evening. All right, so Savage Street Vigilante at 44K. Hell yeah, Jimmy. Hell yeah. But he just added this Scotty Young variant cover, and I love it. I might actually have to add this in there. It's different for Scotty, and I kind of like it. And it's Halloween colors, and it's the Savage Street Vigilante with a chainsaw. I know you pack a chainsaw. Let's get your ass raw. And then that's the Huddleston variant cover. Look at the Jim Rugg variant cover. Whew, I got one of those coming to me. The print set. You guys got to back this. Creator-owned comics is the way to go. And you're just buying it directly from the source. You can't really ask for much more. Speaking of Kickstarters, let's take a look at the Zoop Kickstarter for Switchblade Shorties. They're at 69. And 69,000. Ed Pisker's last book. You still got 15 days to back that. I backed it with the hardcover dust jacket. It was a daily strip, and it's finished, and it was his. It's not completely finished, I should say that. Some of it's colored, some of it's not. And then the newest Kickstarter, which I backed today. Well, no, wrong one. Let's go back to that. Dracula 2. So Matt Wagner, Kelly Jones, Dracula 2, Book of the Brides. The first book, look at they hit $120,000 in just a short amount of time. I do not know what Hyde Street is at all. I can't say I do, Matt. But I can check it out. So the first book was kickstarted last year. Wagner, Kelly Jones. I read it twice. It's fucking fantastic. Like, this is the best anything Dracula, period. End of statement. It is bloody as hell. It's a great story. It's a lot of the stuff that kind of like is told on the periphery. And they don't really talk about it in the original book. And so Wagner's just written such a great book. And Kelly Jones is just, whew, he is going 100 miles an hour with this art. So the second book Kickstarter started yesterday or the day before. It's about the brides and the furthering the story. But you could do the digital bundle right here for 20 and get both books. You can still get the first book. I ended up getting the limited edition cover. So you can bundle. I'm telling you, after not a big fan of Ghost Machine and Jeff Johns, so that's not a book for me. That's what happens when you do. Well, I mean, it's a hardcover, and yeah, these guys should be, they should be getting paid for their work. And the cost of creator-owned, self-published stuff will be more because they have to do everything themselves. And I don't blame creators for that. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. And I know, Bill, I know you weren't complaining. There was some serious impaling in book one. Hell yeah. So, yeah, I know you're not blaming and you're not complaining. What's up, brother? Mr. Collector in the house. So those are three things that I fully backed, and I definitely endorse backing all three. Jim Mahfood's book, Switchblade Shorties, and Dracula 2. Now, here's a little sneak peek into what's coming up here. Yes, yeah, exactly. Well, and also the four. Well, we're at $6 for Absolute Batman. Sweet, you should. You should. The art is gorgeous, Tyler. And let me tell you, I am recording another interview with Matt Wagner and Kelly Jones this week on Friday. They're coming back on the channel to talk about book 2. Me and Daryl from Read Your Comics, we recorded a flip through of the first book on Sunday night, a full flip through. It's going to be an hour, a little over an hour video. So my plan for leading up to Halloween week is to do horror. I'm doing a horror week, and that's going to include a couple interviews, the flip through of Dracula, a flip through of House of Secrets 92, and a little Bernie talk. I may shoot one more video, but I think I'm going to do 5, possibly 7 videos. But I really need everybody's help to engage with those videos, watch them, do that, because I don't have the audience that Kayfabe does. I'm getting close to 5,000 subscribers. I'm about 250 away. But the only way to get more subscribers is for these videos to go out to people more and more. You guys did a great job with the Bagley interview, the Mahfood interview, the Pittsburgh. Like, everybody's been watching that stuff, so I'm really thankful for that. Geezer 3 is the Philip Bond Britpop book on Kickstarter right now. The first 2 issues are great. Does it favor Blur? I've never read that, but I think you told me about it, Rob. Hell yeah, Tom. Hell yeah. So I have another interview this Friday too. I'm doing 2 interviews on Friday, because if I'm not working 400 miles an hour, then I ain't working at all. It favors the bold. I'm looking forward to Horror Week, and then I've got a special. That's the other episode I'm shooting. It is a bunch of different artists and a couple other people talking about their 5 favorite horror movies, but I have to finish filming all of that. Oh, well, I don't know if he'll go back to SummerCon, but I think you got a good chance at seeing him in Emerald City or maybe Rose City at some point. But I don't think he really enjoyed SummerCon. I don't know why. Frog Night issue 2 by the Armand Bodner. It sounds like you made that up, but I know you didn't. Frog Night issue 2 by Armand Bodner is up. First issue is Great Fans, Usagi TMT, and Funny Animals. Genghis Khan. That's a real Khan. That's amazing. Speaking of, if you didn't read the Moon is Following Us, issue 2 comes out in 2 weeks. Daniel's coming back on the channel. Well, he was already back on the channel, but I'm not dropping that interview until the week that issue comes out. So yes, I'm excited for a lot of stuff that's going on, but yeah, the Bagley interview was very well received, and I'm grateful for that, because sometimes when I drop a big, like a legend, status creator interview, sometimes you just get some really fucking stupid comments. But no, I got some really good comments, so that's really nice. You want a Necronomicon? I think that does exist, actually, Rob. I think that's a horror con somewhere. Cleveland rocks, according to Drew Carey. I've only been there. I've been there a couple of times. It's okay. But that is cool. Genghis Khan in Cleveland, December 5th. Yeah, he was really funny. And he big thanks to him also for having his whoever runs his Facebook posting that on Facebook too. Necronomicon. Yeah, no, Tyler, I wasn't gonna edit anything out. Madeline Khan. How about just Khan? Star Trek. It's a Star Trek Khan. Anywho, so yeah, Absolute Batman came out today. Nothing else really worth mentioning that came out. I'm not interested in the Terminator book. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I just don't care. But I'm also interviewing Becky Cloonan again this week, so that'll be fun. I think I might just mention that. So it's a very horror-filled week. She's got a new anthology coming out from Distillery called Come Find Me, and it's just a one-shot horror anthology. I read it. It's fucking good. There's some great, amazing art in there too. Most of the people on the creative side on that book, I do not know, except Becky. And Becky's story is awesome. You know, she doesn't make bad comics. But yeah, I'm not really familiar with too many of the creators that are involved in that, but I did read it. I read her story and I looked through the art, and it's really, really nice. Uh, Khan, there you go. Shaka Khan, right? There could be that Khan too. You know what, Bill? Once again, like I looked at it today, I just flipped through it. The art's very reminiscent of Wayshack, but I just don't have much interest in it. Um, I don't, it's not that I don't want to read new comics. It's just how can this is why I'm really stoked about Absolute Batman, because I'm getting like a new fresh take on a character I love. Um, I read pretty much everything Distillery puts out. Read graphic novels, but there's not. I read that like, all right. I don't think I talked about this in the first superhero from New Jersey, the new Turtles book that had come out from IDW a couple weeks ago. The first issue, Jason Aaron, Joel Jones. Joel Jones, great artist. Jason Aaron, pretty much like everything I've read of his. I haven't read everything he's done. Loved his Thor run. I read like the first 10 issues of not Scorched. What the hell is it called? Scalped. I read Southern Bastards, the first couple issues. But yeah, the new Turtles book, and I wish I had a digital copy of it that I could show on screen. But there's like 3 different pages where the story transitions and you have no clue how the story transitions. Like Raphael's on the roof fighting these guys, and then all of a sudden he's in an office and the warden's dead, and then all of a sudden the cops come in, and then all of a sudden he's in the sewer. Like, I know IDW just hired a new editor for Turtles, but whoever edited that first issue was literally asleep. Yeah, I mean, look, the Turtles were great for a period of time in that decade. I even like Archie Turtles. I think the Archie Turtles is amazing too for what it is. And but I don't know. I don't find joy in reading a lot of the new books that come out. Like I'm reading the new Wolverine Revenge, the Greg Capullo, Jonathan Hickman. I almost did not want to get the second issue, but as I reached the end of the first issue, I was like, okay, this got good. And then the second issue was really good. But I don't find that much joy in a lot of these, especially the Marvel DC stuff. Image, Dark Horse, like the indies are where it's at. Although, oh my God, I read that Knights vs. Samurai, and holy dog shit, Batman. That might be the worst comic I've ever read. David Dasmalchian, stay in Hollywood. Do yourself a favor. Do us all a favor and stay in Hollywood. Over the past, okay, so hold on. We'll get to that, Rob. Archie Turtles is your favorite. And Tyler, because you're younger, it makes sense. Like that's actually no, it doesn't. It makes sense and it doesn't. And I love that because that's where I grew up for Archie Turtles. Thumbs up. And you're younger, but I love that you appreciate that. Yeah, Rob. And if I like a first issue and it's like a indie book, I'm just gonna buy the trade. This I'll buy in single issues just because like I really want to read it when it comes out. Obviously, the most exciting creator in the last 10 years is Mr. Daniel Warren Johnson. Murder Falcon, Do a Powerbomb, Extremity. I haven't read Wonder Woman Dead Earth yet. Transformers, Moon is Following Us, Space Mullet, Ghost Fleet, and I know I'm forgetting another one, but I can endorse reading everything that he's done. So pick a book up, you won't regret it. Oh, and we've got Dr. Plagueis, paging Dr. Plagueis. Where's Palpatine? But yeah, I don't know. I at least I'm trying to read some of this stuff. Like I think the most exciting writer that Marvel's had in the last decade I think it's clearly Donny Cates. I don't think he has any misses on the Marvel side. His cosmic stuff, you got Silver Surfer Black, which him and Tradmore match made in heaven. The Venom run was fantastic, and I don't think I enjoyed the Venom. What was it Daniel Way writing with the Sam Keefe covers? I enjoyed like the first 5 issues of that, and I think I read the remainder, like the first 10 issues of that. But Kate's wait, it looks like a skull in Haiti. Are we talking about? Hold on, that that's just like a handkerchief cloth design that Becky Cloonan did a bunch of years ago. So I just put it up there because I wanted it up there anyway. Cult, yeah, but you know what? I don't know if that was fully realized. I think and obviously he had to dip out. He had he got into the car accident, he had all those problems. I don't know if that was fully realized. I thought the art, obviously, Ryan Otley was great. But if there was going to be a foul ball, then sure, that run was a foul ball. But the whole title DC is better than Marvel. Okay, I can't tell you 20 full runs or full storylines from Marvel in the last 25 years that are amazing. I can name tons of DC stuff. I mean, now it's biased because Batman is the best written character in comics, period. Like in the big two, there's no competition there. Like Frank Miller, Alan Moore, Jeff Loeb, Scott Snyder, Matt Wagner, Doug Munch, like all of these writers have left their mark on on the bat. What's up, Mattis? I often say to people, and look, we can debate characters all day, and like, sure, Marvel's got the more iconic lineup. That does not mean that the books are better. I often ask a lot of my friends who love Spider-Man, and you in the chat too, but Joe Scar is one of the people I ask. And I often ask, I say, like, what are the 5 best Spider-Man storylines? And it's a struggle to like think, okay, it's like Kraven's Last Hunt, Spider-Man Spirits of the Earth. Like, as much as I love the McFarlane stuff, Torment it's rooted in the love of McFarlane, but they're not great stories. They are just not very well written. Michelini writes some great superhero stuff, but they're not, or he writes good superhero stuff, but they're not great stories. Hello, Mr. Dracula. The master, I mean, like, Straczynski wrote some good stuff, but anytime you mention Straczynski, people just harp on the way it ended. They don't talk about like the entirety of the mark that he left on that character. Mark Miller wrote some great stuff for Marvel Knights. There's the Spider-Man stuff I like is the stuff that came out of like Tangled Web. I mean, it was okay, but it's not well written. It was like that's what the thing is like I'm talking about stuff that's I regard, when we're trying to put when we have to have the argument with people that comics are literature. You can't be like, well, you should read the Assassination Plot. You have to talk about The Watchmen. You have to talk about V. You have to talk about Dark Knight, Year One, Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. You can't, you can't defend literature with superhero, and that, Derek, yeah, that's what I said. I said Cates is in the last decade has probably written the best stuff overall at Marvel. Silver Surfer Black, the Inhuman run, the Thanos stuff, all that good stuff. What's up, brother? Everybody should be listening to the NSDC podcast. There we go. Get my letters mixed up. Spider-Man has been played by mediocre writing, great character, but written without a care. Most Marvel. Yes, exactly. And Spider-Man life story, Ultimate Spider-Man, the Ultimate Spider-Man. And when I talked to Bagley, and I'm going to get Bendis on the program at some point, I've read through that run twice. It's got its ups, it's got its downs, but overall, I think it's one of the best Marvel runs of all time is Ultimate Spider-Man. Spider-Man Life Story, same thing. But Zdarsky's the other guy. Like, he can write his fucking way through the world, and he still does not get the credit he deserves. His Daredevil run is up there with, Daredevil's one of those characters that has been time and time again written very well, but it's kind of like not fair. You got Frank Miller, you've got Mark Waid, you've got Bendis, you've got even David Mack wrote, and Zdarsky, and I know people will cite Brubaker. I think, yeah, Brubaker. Ain't No Grave. I have not read it yet, Derek, but I plan to, because I did read Scotty's first the Me You Love in the Dark. That was fantastic, so I'm sure that's going to be great. What's up, Ryan? Ryan's in the house, Colossus Collector. Okay, there you go. Tom Taylor's Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I've never read that run. And then, speaking of Colossus Collector, he's in the room, and I got to mention the X-Men. Now, everybody loves the X-Men, and I love the idea of the X-Men. I love the characters of the X-Men. There's only really two really good storylines, and it's God Loves, Man Kills, and Days of Future Past. Everything else is so fucking convoluted and makes no sense. And if you tell me that the Jim Lee X-Men is good, I will spit in your direction, because it is dog shit. It looks beautiful. It looks amazing. It's changed all art. It influenced so many people, but it reads like garbage. We all know it. Try and read X-Men 1 through 10, and then tell me you're not trying to smack your face into a wall. Hello, David. Superior Spider-Man. Yeah, people talk about that. I did not read that. That's Dan Slott, right? Spider-Man has developed as a character in forever. Does Spider-Man not deserve to marry MJ? Wait till they get a load of me. And look, there's been some great Batman bootlegs recently. Jeremy Heiler, our friend of the channel, has written four Rain, Snow, Heat. Okay, four? Three. I don't know. Jeremy Heiler's writing better Batman books than most people have in the last 5 years. And yes, Spider-Man Life Story. I think that's the best Spider-Man story written post-Ultimate Spider-Man. So Bendis, so the guys that left the mark in recent times, and I'm talking post-2000, so the last 24 years, the guys who left the mark in Marvel are Mark Miller and Bendis are the two ones that kind of come, to my brain first. Brubaker, he had that Cap run. I'm so off on which one. The X-Men? Somebody tell me what other good X-Men there is. Somebody. Oh, Powers. If I can't jump into a book and know what's going on after reading 5 issues, that book is not well written. If it's so bad, why is it so... Ryan, I will tell you why it's so popular. People can't get over the fact that they love the characters and don't have anything to do with the story. You can love some art, but you can't read the stories. And also, people love X-Men because of the cartoon and the video games and the toys. That's what it is. Astonishing X-Men was good, but then it gets kind of convoluted in 25 issues in. Life Death. I'm sorry, I forgot about Life. Everyone can overlook a mediocre story if it has great art. I cannot, however, see. I can read pretty much anything if it's a good story. It does not matter who the artist is. I forgot about Life Death. I'm sorry. I apologize. That's 3 issues. 2 issues. 3 issues. Ad Astra in Africa does not count. Okay, here's what I'd like to say. The Claremont run is not all gold. No, it's not. Nobody has ever read that entire run from 94 through 300 or whatever and been like, yes, I understood exactly what was going on. Ed Piskor is the only reason why that shit is finally readable. Nope. Chris Claremont wrote a prose novel in every issue. I'm sorry, I do not feel like sitting through mediocre prose novels for every issue with great artistic merit. The artists definitely outweigh the writing on that, but I know I'm in the minority. I know I'm in the minority. Yeah, Dark Phoenix was good. It dragged on for so long. Once again, I said the art. My only gripe with the Krakow era is whenever there was a big event, you had to read 60 books. And that's another thing why I just can't deal with Marvel. Though, okay, so whatever it was, like 8 years ago, I digitally downloaded illegally. It's still, yeah, but my point is that how many times can you read this character died, this character died? No, that's actually the clone. No, it's his daughter from the future, from this, that. It's like you're running in circles. And that's what I mean. But no, I read all of Civil War and every single one of those tie-ins. It was like 130 books. After I was done, I was like, yes, that's a good story, but holy shit, did I not need all of it. Joe Kelly's replacing Zeb Wells on ASM. I bet it doesn't move the needle enough to salvage the dumpster fire that they rebooted again with a #1 collector's edition. Yeah, they rebooted Spider-Man in the last 20 years, what, 5 times? You have to read the books. Chris Claremont was poetry for 14-year-old boys. That's true. Look, the reason why everybody mentions God Loves Man Kills is because that told a story, but that also like cemented the meaning of the X-Men to everybody except those idiots that still think that the X-Men doesn't stand for kind of like having the backs of every person that's ever been disparaged, whether it's racially or sexually or whatever, right? Michael Stone, what's up? That's the other thing. So I think runs of Claremont Saga are great, but the whole thing back to back, no thank you. Yeah. So when I say DC Comics is better, I mean it's really Batman, okay? Although Swamp Thing has had some great stuff. And I know people will say, Animal Man, which I've never read. I know, Bill will talk about Grant Morrison. I am not a Grant Morrison fan, but Vertigo, which is, a DC arm, has arguably had the best comics, period. End of statement. In my opinion, Sandman, Preacher, Constantine, and I guess Animal Man's in there, and Shade the Changing Man. People love that book. The art on that is fantastic. Pretty much every shade is a masterpiece in art. Derek, have only read like 1 or 2 things of his, so I can't speak on him. I've only read the stuff he's done for Distillery. Yeah, I miss Vertigo also. Vertigo, Dark Horse. I think Hellboy is probably the best, overall, the best, second best superhero book of all time. Maybe the best. I don't know. I read pretty much the first 10 years of Hellboy and BPRD, and I think that stuff is insanely fun. But I think the best superhero book of all time, or at least in my life, I should say, is Invincible. I think Invincible hits all the notes that you want in like any superhero book, and it always stays grounded, and the loose ends never left hanging, and everything kind of makes sense. Ugh. Bill, you're never going to convince me that I'm going to like Grant Morrison. Black Orchid's great, although I did like Superman for All-Star Superman. Doom Patrol, people talk about how good that is. Transmet, I forgot about Transmet. Transmet was a fantastic read. DC was always willing to take a bigger swing, and DC does not. It's like, okay, let's go through the 5 characters that are the Avengers in the MCU, and let's see what, like, Extremis is the only, and besides Demon in a Bottle, Extremis is the only thing that people mention about Iron Man. Hulk, people talk about like loving the Hulk run, but like a Hulk story that really hits, I mean, for me, it's Hulk Gray. Yeah, like you can't. Marvel characters don't seem to have good stories. They just don't. They have one here and there, but I don't know. Ram might have done Batman for a while. and swap me. Okay. Don't forget storytelling X-Men 8, who can match the depth of the story that is the untouchable. More like 8 is the untouchable. Can I talk about why I don't like Grant Morrison? Yes, I can. Most of his stories make no fucking sense to me. I read the beginning of his Batman run, and I'm like, what's happening? I read like the last 10 issues of his, when Mark Silvestri was doing the last new X-Men ones. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Most of the times when I read Grant Morrison, I like David Lynch, I like abstract, I like weird shit. And I usually just find myself like saying, what the fuck is going on? I like all the other Scottish and Irish dudes. I like Ennis. I like Ellis. I like, or I think Ellis is British. I just can't with Grant Morrison. The dude seems like, okay, I love My Chemical Romance, and I tried to read the stuff that he would. I don't get it. I don't get it. I can't get behind Invincible, but I do think Kirkman is a great writer. Yeah, I love Invincible. We 3 is great because he's working with the Beast. He's working with Frank Quietly. Anytime that Morrison works with Quietly, so that's We 3 and All-Star Superman. I didn't read New X-Men. Maybe I should read that. But I love Frank Quietly, and I feel like he makes sense of Grant Morrison's scripts. Yeah, well, Hooch didn't like it. There you go. The DC Universe Infinite app has proven to me why Vertigo needs a permanent place in comics. It always will, and it always has. I got so close to doing with Eder, and I'm like, that's a bummer. Immortal Hulk, I never finished it. I don't know why. I liked it. Yes, okay, I forgot about those, Mattis. You don't read the whole thing. You got to read the whole thing. If I can't get into it, I'm not going to waste my time trying. I think that's a thing that we're taught in school, and we're taught at a young age. Like, if you start reading this, you've got to finish it. Fuck no, if I don't like it, I'm putting it down. Maybe I'll come back to it again, but you do not have to force yourself to read a whole thing if you just read a piece and you don't like it. Marvel was geared towards kids while DC was young adults. Okay, I'm going to push back on that, Tyler. Because when Marvel Knights started, I read everything that Marvel put out because the Marvel Knights era started, Marvel Max started, they started putting out good stuff. Quesada and Gemis, once Harris was gone, holy shit, it opened up a whole new world. They were letting Garth Ennis write Punisher for a decade, and it was not being co-opted by schmucks. It was a great fucking book. And so, no, the Mark Miller Wolverine run, Enemy of the State with John Romita Jr. is fantastic. The Ultimate stuff was fantastic. No, the problem is Marvel doesn't actually give a shit about their comics anymore. That's the problem. You know what? I think I read Morrison's Authority. I can't remember. I might have only read the Ennis stuff. Who started that book? Was it Ennis or was it Ellis or was it Morrison? I can't. There was a period of my life where I was reading a lot of comics and I was drinking a lot. No, I can't. Everybody tells me to pick this up from Morrison and this up from Morrison, and every time I read something of Morrison, I don't like it. This is true. This is true. This is true. Said nobody but Jacob. Earth 2. Again, you're not going to sell me on Grant Morrison. It's just never going to happen. Here. All right. Let's take a break. Hold on. Time out. You want to sell me on Grant Morrison? My PO box is on the return label of is on the label of every box I send you. Send me Grant Morrison stuff. By the way, I have added, because I do not monetize my YouTube stream, I put my PayPal and my Venmo in the link below in the description below. If you feel like sending me a tip or buying me a coffee or a bagel, feel free. What's up, Dan? It's a mystery, man. If you read the ending first, it doesn't make sense. You know what though, Derek? I have a friend like Bill, a friend that like a close friend in my life. His name's Will. It's funny, and they both kind of have the same thing. It's just like I get it. Me and Bill get along real well. If you ain't having fun, don't punish yourself by requiring yourself to finish it. Books, comics, movies, games, whatever. Drop the thing you enjoy and find the next thing. Exactly. Marvel hasn't given a shit since the 90s. No, Tyler, that's the thing. The early 2000s, they gave a shit for about 10 years. And Quesada is one of the reasons why the MCU exists and is so successful, because like he pushed for things like this to happen. But once the MCU took off, they were just like, fuck the comics, I'm done. All it takes to step me out of a Grant Morrison book is an art change. I was sucked into his run Batman. Daniel's art got confusing. That was the first, yeah, I read his up until like, I read the first run when they introduced Damian, and then I read the first bunch of issues of Batman and Robin. And after I was just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm reading anymore. No, I talked about it already, Mattis. I was going to not get the second issue as I got like halfway through the first. I was like, I don't really care about this. And then the first issue ended. I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm in. Remender's Uncanny Avengers was interesting. I don't know if I read that. I've read some Remender stuff that I liked. Black Science. I didn't read Deadly Class. He was somebody like that I was getting into, but then he started doing 45 books, and I'm like, I can't keep up. Marvel does not care about comics, just the bottom line of their share. I don't know what they care about. Yeah, I don't. What is your most favorite Marvel storyline ever? Weapon X. Weapon X. They don't make comics like that anymore. Barry Windsor Smith, do what you want. Okay. Yeah, Weapon X is definitely my favorite storyline of all time. And then Infinity Gauntlet. Those two. And then more recently, like if we're talking in the post 99 era, maybe Wolverine Enemy of the State, or I really like Ultimate Spider-Man. They don't give a shit about Spidey. Listen, the best Spider-Man story that's ever been written is actually the video game Spider-Man 2. I just finished playing it for a second time. Tom, Grant Morrison got boned by DC editorial left and right, but is still triumphant. Remember when Grant Morrison did a convention about himself? Yeah, I was like, yeah, no, I will never like this man. I was reading Batman, and then he goes to another time, and I picked up what happened to the Cape Crusader, the Neil Gaiman double, the 2 issue, and I was like, this was cool. And then after that, Grant Morrison took over. I was like, nah, I'm fucking done. When I was a little kid, I felt that Marvel didn't give a shit when they took the Vision on the upper hand left corner. The thing is with Marvel, I think they don't give a fuck about art anymore, because, okay, Capullo's doing a main book right now. Makes sense. He should be doing, honestly, as many main books as they want to give him. Tradmore, they let him do whatever he wanted with Silver Surfer Black and Doctor Strange, False Sunrise, and it was beautiful. They gave Peach a book. Smart idea. Peach doing a monthly makes total sense, although she should be doing a horror book. But I feel like they just don't give a shit. They got Liefeld doing a book now, which is cool, that Deadpool team up. Although, like, it, I read the first issue. I'm like, this is boring, but I still like the fact that he's doing a book. Imagine Batman being hit by the Omega Beam, the death that is life, and clawing his way back through time and leaving clues for his friends to find a way. Yeah, Grant Morrison's never going to win me. Yes, it is. Yeah, I read Wolverine's first solo story as a kid, and I reread it probably one more time as like an older, maybe like a 20 or 30 something. I mean, some of that shit didn't make any sense, but the stuff that didn't make sense was helped by the great art. But yeah, no, the LCD, all that like stuff was kind of cheesy, but I still enjoy it. Bill, just send me all you want me to read on Grant Morrison. I'll do my homework. Marvel doesn't give a fuck because they're selling 20 to 40K of each title, which is enough to pay an artist. They don't really pay their artists that well, man. But when it comes to DC, when you talk about Batman, even like like as much as we love Spider-Man's rogues gallery, but Batman can flesh like the writers usually will flesh out these great rogues gallery. I mean, has anybody really read or made a great Mysterio storyline? I think it's a great character. I also know for a fact that you have copies of Superman Beyond 3D. I do. Uh, I mean, I think the people that I didn't like Peach at first. I didn't. But I also recognize that like she's an island onto herself when it comes to mainstream comics, and I love that stuff. I absolutely love the fact I can get like okay, what Bill is saying. Look, Bill loves Grant Morrison, and Grant Morrison does what he does, and he's his own thing. I can respect that. I don't have to like the work, but I can respect the fact that Grant Morrison does his own thing, and they just let him. You know, Roz and Talia need some love on the silver screen. Man, I reread before it was reissued or whatever, reprinted recently, the Batman Treasury, the Neil Adams, Ra's al Ghul, Talia al Ghul, you know, the saga. Man, that was so fucking good. I mean, Neil Adams' art, we're talking, you know, Mount Rushmore status, but just during his Batman run, yeah. I only read the first issue of Ultimate X-Men. I was going to read it in trade. Same with the Ultimate Spider-Man. I read the first issue. I was into it, but I want to read it in trade. Batman himself is riddled with so much fucking plot armor. I mean, yeah. Enough about the prep time already. He should just easily get mobbed by most. Well, he's smarter than everybody, Tyler, and the smarter one always wins. That's why Stephen Hawking is in space right now. He's not dead. Hello, Amber. Nameless. Oh, that was the Image book. Who's the artist on that? It was somebody pretty good too. Yes, but you know, not in the way that they were in the comics. I mean, yes, yeah. No, sorry, Chris Burnham. There we go. Yeah, Chris Burnham's great. But going into DC's movies now, let's just look. I'm not going to go into spoilers for Joker. I saw it on Monday. I actually watched 5 movies in 2 days. I took Monday and Tuesday to myself. I wanted to mitigate being burned out, and I went to see Joker. I love the first movie. I don't give a shit that it's like, you know, it is not related to the DC universe or anything. The thing about Batman, and I've said this before, I don't know if I've said it in recent times on this channel. You may say Dracula, you may say Sherlock Holmes. In my opinion, the greatest fictional character in the last century is Batman, because you can write him and interpret him in whatever ways you want. And that goes with all the characters in the Bat universe. Joker was not a bad Joker 2 was not a bad movie. The performances were amazing. It was not a musical. It maybe devoted what, a half hour to songs out of a 2-hour movie. I have no clue how many people are shitting on this movie to the actual ratio of people that saw that movie. More people are shitting on this movie than have actually seen this movie. And that is why I can't deal with listening to people on the internet talk about what they thought about a movie, because most people that give you their opinions on movies these days, especially in the comic book space, they haven't seen them. Same thing happened with Furiosa. People shit all over that movie. If you were to tell me that you thought Furiosa was a bad movie, I would question if you're actually alive. Furiosa was fucking fantastic, and it got shit on for nobody saw it. It got shit on for no reason. Joker is nowhere near as good as the first one. It's not even like, it's hard to explain. It's just kind of like picks up right where the last one left off. But I just see people shitting on it, but they don't actually have like a reason why they're shitting on it. They're just like, this is dog shit. I'm like, elaborate. And before Leon, I'll get to your question. Let's take a look at a prominent figure in the comic book Instagram realm. The Golden Age Guru went to go see Joker 2. Okay.
Could be, but let's go give it a watch and see what happens.
Let's see what his opinion is based on any.
trial of the century.
They believe Arthur Fleck to be some...
Hey, Fleck, you got a joke for us today?
For once I can touch. Take my hand, say you're my friend. I'll find my way. Shine on me.
To sell.
It's a tough one to watch. I like when people take risks, but boy, it would have been a much better movie without the musical bits. I understand what they're trying to do, but it just didn't land. Damn.
That was a great opinion. It didn't land. No, okay. So anyway, I just don't completely understand. I've seen a lot, and I'm not going to get into weird conspiracy theories or anything, but the big prominent YouTubers like Nerdrotic and the other people that are on CNN and stuff, they basically make money and get clicks just by shitting on stuff. And I'm just like, when are we going to get people that actually review a movie? Siskel and Ebert are dead. So I don't think it's going to land with everybody, but if you enjoy watching great performances, it's great for that. The music didn't bother me. I think it conveyed certain emotions that might have taken a lot longer with dialogue. I enjoyed it. I still am thinking about it 3 days later. So, I think that's, and I was talking to Dave Correa today, and we talked about, or was that yesterday? No, it was today, how movies, music, even comics, books, whatever, art, anything you're taking in, the first view may not always hit. And you don't have to watch things twice if you're really not enjoying it. But if you're thinking about it, maybe watch it again. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I just, with the Marvels, when the Marvels came out, I remember watching some YouTube fucking Yahoo conservative shitbags bash the movie like 4 months before it came out. I'm like, you're bashing it because you're a misogynist. You're like, there's no grounds. Like, oh, this movie's going to suck. It's like, well, if you tell your viewers it's going to suck, and your viewers are sheep, they're not going to go see it, and they're going to shit on it, even though they never saw it, because you never saw it, and you just shit on it. Anyway, what other movies did I see? What's up, Leon? I watched It Follows, which I hadn't seen in a couple years, so it's, in my eyes, it's a modern horror classic. It's got a little bit of camp, it's got a lot of good scares, and it's got a great premise. I watched 3 movies that I hadn't seen before. I saw The TV Glow, which I'm still thinking about. I didn't necessarily like it, but I didn't hate it. I liked the visuals and the music, and I realized the movie wasn't made for me. But it took chances, and I'm all in for that. Black Phone, which I loved, and it's based off a Joe Hill story, Scott Derrickson movie. So I figured I was going to like it, but I really liked it. And then I watched When Evil Lurks, and that was fucking awesome. That is not for the faint at heart. That is not for anybody that wants a feel-good movie. But like Dave said on the phone with me today, every once in a while a movie comes around, it hits all the notes, and it leaves you thinking that you just saw something special. I missed what that was from. Movie Pylon. Yeah, exactly. He's eating he's drinking Powerade at theater, right? Why don't I do a review of comic movies? Because I'd like to do them in this format, Amber, or I'd like people, like to have the conversation, but I don't know if I want to sit down and record like a 20-minute review. Because for me to do that, I want to go see the movie once, and then I want to go see the movie a second time with with the analytical kind of brain, and I just don't have the time for that. The closest thing I did on the podcast, Direct Edition, which you can subscribe to down below, directeditionpodcast.com, I did a comparison of how Jaws influenced Nope and Godzilla Minus One, which I think Godzilla Minus One is one of my favorite movies of all time at this point. I don't know Damian Walters, but it's nice to see people not shitting on it. The Marvels was a fun movie. And if you have kids and your kids didn't like that movie, then maybe you could be like, okay, maybe it wasn't that good. But I don't know what kid would sit in that movie and be like, I don't like this. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. We're post Ooh, guys, before I forget, let's do the first giveaway for Beefcake Batman. I'll do the Wes Craig one first. Just hashtag Beefcake. Yeah, we're past the point of people like actually reviewing movies. I liked pieces of Echo, and I like pieces of Eternals. And Derek, you know this. I can kind of find something I liked about even the things I don't like, but I liked Echo and I liked Eternals. I saw The Substance. I do want to see that. I've heard a lot of wild things about that. I do want to see it. Yes. Well, I just needed to take a break, and yeah, I felt like watching a bunch of horror movies yesterday and Monday. Yes, Absolute Batman is fantastic. It really is. Like it sets up a world that I'm just ready to dive into. They're doing Frank Miller better than Frank Miller. 11 out of 10. Hashtag Beefcake. See, yeah, Eternals. I also think Eternals was. I mean, I don't think it's a debatable thing. It was beautifully shot. You know, the cinematography in that movie was Marvel. The Marvel movies are fun. I don't think that there's. I mean, like Wakanda Forever. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, and people were happy to shit all over that movie too. Angela Bassett gets an Academy Award nomination. I don't remember much about New Mutants, so I can't remember. I just remember not enjoying it. Most of the Fox movies are. X2 is amazing. X-Men has a special place in my heart. I think Days of Future Past is the best X-Men movie. I think Logan is the best Marvel movie, period. The best movie with a Marvel character. I don't know. What is it? Who cares? It's just a symbol. Who gives a shit? It's a fucking symbol. It's a big beefy bat. He's a big beefy bat. I think he'd like Film Joys here on YouTube, movies with Mikey series. At least their earlier videos. They celebrate movies oftentimes, ones that kind of suck but find great things to love. I mean, shitty movies also have a place in this world. Like movies that are so bad you like them. But yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, it's an axe, Tyler. It's not a bat symbol. It's an axe. Exactly. I haven't seen Long Legs yet. I do want to see it. I missed that. I missed Alien Romulus. Bill, don't get me started. I still haven't seen it. Logan and Spider-Man 2. Yeah, Spider-Man 2 is a fantastic fucking movie. Yes, it's an axe. All right, we're going to do drawing for Beefcake Batman Part 1. I'm going to be giving away the Jim Lee one probably a little bit later, but let's give this away. Hashtag Beefcake, the Wes Craig cover of Absolute Batman, which came out today. Waterworld is an absolutely terrible movie, and it has a special place in my heart. All right, hashtag Beefcake. I'll give it away in 5, in 4, in 3, in 2, hashtag Beefcake, in 1. All right, here we go. Hashtag Beefcake. Who's gonna win it? Michael Stone. All right, Michael. Let me get a Post-it. All right. Michael Stone, Wes Craig, Beefcake Batman. I stand by Spider-Man 3 wasn't that bad. It wasn't even good. I wish we got to see the fully realized movie that Sam Raimi wanted to do with that, because the Fall of Spider-Man would have been really cool. I still need to see it. Woohoo! Howard the Duck is so bad it's good, and then it swings back to bad, and then slimes back into good again. I will give that movie a so bad it's good. So much light. Yeah, yeah. What's up, Chris? I I got some new lights. You know, Chris, I did not finish watching your Joker review, but I do want to finish watching that because you put some thought into it. And we were just talking about all of the lack of people with actual reviews. But I didn't want to watch the rest of it until I saw it. Howard the Duck is a fucking ride, thanks to George Lucas. But look, they're comic book movies, so they're supposed to be whatever. But there are some that are fantastic. Like Sin City is probably the best adaptation, and I really love Zack Snyder's Watchmen, and I really love 300. They're pretty faithful, and I don't really care that he changed the fucking ending of Watchmen. Let him do one thing himself. But the Marvel movies, there's so many good ones, but they're not like, they don't feel like they're not from a machine. Whereas like Nolan's Batman movies felt like a filmmaker made them. Even Matt Reeves' Batman. Fuck, we got to talk about Penguin. Holy shit, we have to talk about Penguin. I just wanted to say, I did not hate that movie. Sin City 2, we don't talk about that. Oh, you did? Oh, that's right. You guys did. Yeah, watch Trash Movie Bonanza right here on YouTube. Chris Pierce, Jim Food. Boom. It is. You got to watch their Friday the 13th episode. Was fantastic. I tried watching The Spirit. I couldn't. Oh, well, thanks. Thank you. It does. Because he's not a damn penguin. Nolan's Batman changed the game. Yes. And you know what happened? Nobody ever tried to make anything as good as Nolan's Batman so far. In terms of filmmaking, it's more grounded, but like the way he did everything, constructed everything, scripted it, like it's just it's awesome. But Reeves' Batman, I love it too. Super. Is that the one with Richard Pryor? Third one, and then the fourth one's with the nuclear dude. Yeah, Matt Reeves, man. Matt Reeves he knows what he's doing. He's made great movies. I mean, the Planet of the Apes movies are fantastic. He did all three, right? And then what else? He did he do a found footage movie? Did he do Cloverfield? Yeah, he did Cloverfield. There you go. Yeah, that's what it was. Cloverfield was a nice revelation. Yes, 300. Frank Miller's 300, directed by Zack Snyder. He does well. V for Vendetta is great. Yeah, that's another great one. God, Bill, come on. Bill, you're just saying that because that's your thing. That's your thing. Yes, the animated series was fantastic. I've said this before, as somebody that voraciously does love Batman and great Batman stories. The thing that sets Reeves's Batman apart is in the first 10 minutes where Batman's narrating himself. And we've never had the internal monologue on film. And that's one of the greatest things about reading a Batman book. What was going on with Gunn's DC Universe? We'll find out when Superman comes out next year. Going back to Joker 2, I don't understand how a 200 million. You know, Derek, it's all in the marketing. They put all this fucking money into marketing. And I'm sorry. How much marketing do you need to do for the movie Joker 2 to let people know that it's coming out? It won Academy Awards. It made $1 billion. You don't have to spend money on marketing. Okay, Bill. I'll pre-order a copy. Sure. Salaries and time. Oh, okay. Salaries and time. You know, we have to look at Bill as one of these people. He's kind. He's great. He's got an opinion, and he's not a piece of shit. He could be, talking to the wall or me, but still love him. Yep. $200 million does not count the marketing. Jesus Christ. Instead of filming in LA, Gaga and cheap. No. All right. Well, Phoenix made. I thought this was talking about the movie Dark Phoenix. You want to talk about a steaming pile of junk, plus the cocaine. I mean, Lady Gaga. She was already in 2 Oscar-nominated movies. I mean, I guess you can do that. She's also Lady Gaga. Alone, her name is. If you put 10 random people from 10 random countries in a room and he said Joaquin Phoenix, and they would look at you, and if you said Lady Gaga, they'd be like, oh yeah. But yeah, the marketing's crazy. I appreciate you, Bill. You know that. Yeah, their salaries aren't that crazy. No, not when you look at like what I mean. Look, Robert Downey Jr. puts people into that theater, but Robert Downey Jr. is getting paid probably double what they're getting paid. Although, wait, as you point out, I didn't say you were an asshole. I did not say you were an asshole, Bill. So, Dame, if you can get anyone for an interview, who's on the dream list? Well, I mean, let's not talk about controversies. It was Neil Gaiman, but your arch enemy is actually in my top 5, Rob Liefeld. And other than that, I mean, I got McFarlane, I had Larson, I had DWJ. Ennis would be up there. Garth Ennis, I'd love to talk to him. Dave McKean, and probably Kevin Eastman. I mean, Laird, yes, but I understand Laird's older, doesn't do many interviews, and no, I know you don't dislike him. I've just seen that his, Rob's got that personality where he's like, I'm the only one that tells the truth, and nobody else can tell the narrative like I can. And I love him to death, but I watched your video that he had a problem with, and I'm like, yeah, no, I dug the video. Matt Nelson Part 2. No, I'll pass on that one. James Gunn. I mean, look, if we're talking non-comic creators, I did interview Tyler. If we're not talking non-comic creators. If we're talking people involved in comic movies, Gunn would be probably my number 1. I didn't even care about talking to Kevin Feige. I like James Gunn. James Gunn's a great filmmaker. He makes low-budget horror movies, and then he graduated to bigger budget, great comedy movies. What about you, Chris? Who's somebody you'd love to interview that you've never had on the show? That's right. We argued about Jaws. Yeah. I like Kevin Smith, but I feel like interviewing Kevin Smith is like you listen to him, like you ask him one question, he talks for 45 minutes. But I do love Kevin Smith. But I gotta say, Chris, what you did with the 7-hour stream was awesome. I watched all but about 45 minutes of it, legitimately fell asleep because I was in bed watching some of it. And, I watch stuff when I go to sleep. It helps me fall asleep. But Larry Hama and Jeff Darrow. Yeah, I'd love to have Darrow on, and I'm sure I will at some point. Peach, man, Peach would be great. It's obviously you got to do it through Yo, but Peach, I'd love to see you talk to Peach. I'd love to talk to her myself, but you've got the audience, so you should have her. There's enough Peaches to go around. I don't know, but at some point, I mean, one of my goals for this channel is to have every image founder on, and I've had 2 out of the 7. I mean, I'd love to have Silvestri. I've tried a couple of times, and his management's like, oh, he's busy. Wills, I talked to his wife. That'll probably happen eventually. Valentino's the only guy I've never had any contact with. Like, I've tried messaging him over Facebook, but because we're not friends, he doesn't see it. Derek, I question Smith and his tasty did what they're. I mean, look, Kevin Smith has done some shit movies, but Kevin Smith's first 4 movies are 4 of the reasons why I like movies, period. So we can forgive his missteps. But I'd like to have a chat with him, but it would have to be knowing that at least I get an hour and a half with him. Yeah, the specials. I don't think I saw the specials actually, Leon. I just rewatched Super, which oh my god, that movie's amazing. And yeah, he's really nice. He's really nice. Yo, Veach is still alive. His brother's not, right? Um, I'd love to talk to Bissett also. Oh yeah, Jesus, Cal, how could I forget? My number one is, Bill Sankiewicz, and I've had communication with his management, and hopefully it'll happen one day. Yeah, yeah, Sankiewicz is one of those guys. He's just super busy. It's hard to nail him down. All right, Colin Farrell's good in the Daredevil movie. I don't think I've seen the specials. Yeah, did he direct it or did he write it? I don't know. Oh no, he didn't direct it. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what Amber's talking about. Has Jim Lee ever shown interest in coming on? Good. You know what the problem is, Ryan? You can't get in touch with a guy like that. That dude's, he's the president, publisher of DC. I have no clue how to get in touch with him. I've emailed what I thought was his email, but Oh, okay, okay. I'd love to have Jim Lee on. Another person that I'd love to have on that I don't think I'll ever have on is Bruce Timm. Jesus on Swamp Thing Cross. That's the book that they left. Yeah. Okay. In Daredevil. Yeah. Remember when Kevin Smith was writing that Daredevil Bullseye book, and then it was like issue 1 came out, and then he left. Yes. That I know he wrote. Yeah, but he never finished that one Bullseye Daredevil book. Now, if we're talking about interviews on the podcast, because I do have an audio podcast called Direct Edition, and it is not it's not always comics based. It's whoever I want to talk to or whatever. That my dream is Vetter and Resner. Those two. That's it. I don't think the Bullseye book, that was the Glenn Fabry, Kevin Smith one. And I remember buying the first issue, reading it. I'm like, yeah, I'm into this. And I think that was it. Bruce Timm is too horny to be interviewed. Ryan, I don't think so. Like, I'm trying to think like who his connections, like Liefeld, those guys don't really talk to him. Morrison doesn't talk to him. I think he's kind of like away from that. Scott Williams would be the only guy, but I've never interviewed Scott Williams. So I'd love to get Frank Miller on, but he's one of those guys that I don't think I would get much time with him. And I talked to Ramita Jr. at Heroes this year, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen either, even though he's really nice. I talked to him for like 5 minutes. Yeah, Michael, I can get Comic Tim on probably at some point to interview him, but it might be a little weird. I really should I should really read Berserker and then try and get Ron Garney on, and then try and get Keanu on, because that would be fun to interview Keanu. I mean, he's got to have some love of comics, like legit love of comics. Would be nice to talk. I'd love to get Optimus Prime. I tried, and he broke my leg. When 18 tons runs over your left leg, I don't know if he was in, I don't know what happened. He just said honk, honk, and then ran me over. Jim Lee did only Saturday in Baltimore. If you didn't go to the panel or signing, you didn't see him. Regatta would be fun. Yeah, that's a possibility. I want to read this book a little more, and then I got to read some more of his other stuff. I don't know. I know people just have like random people on. My 2 parameters for having people on the channel: am I interested in talking to this person, and have I read enough of their work to respectfully give them, like not waste their time. Nick Cage would be sick. I don't know if he collects anymore. I thought he sold his collection. Like, stuff got stolen, and then he got a lot of it back, and then he sold, I think. Yeah, he does. That's cool. Yeah, Cullen. Which comic pro do you wish you had met when you were still alive? Kirby's my Yeah, that would have been. And you know what? I never went out to San Diego. Like I never went to any of the California cons when he was still alive. And when he was still doing cons in New York, I was either a baby or, young kid. I don't think I met Frazetta either, and I never got to meet Bernie. Bernie, Kirby, Frazetta. There you go. I got to meet Steranko, and everybody that's met Steranko knows that's a 45-minute to an hour and a half time that you're just standing there listening to him tell stories that may or may not be true. And I never got to meet Eddie P. We talked. I bought art from him, and I never got to meet him. Dragata seems to be like an author whisperer. He's able to make comics with people where others seem to be illustrating their prose. I like that. That's an interesting way of putting it. I got to meet Frazetta and interview Stanley. That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, look, I think, Ryan, I think that Steranko lives in the same kind of universe as like a Mick Jagger or a Keith Richards. They may not ever die. Now that I'm saying that, tomorrow Keith Richards is going to, finally die, even after like splitting his head open, falling off of a fucking ladder or something like that. But Steranko might actually be eternal. I got to meet Bernie at ChicagoCon. He had no line. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, Steranko was out here 2 years ago for SummerCon, and my table was like just around the corner from him. And so I walked over to the table at one point, and he stood up on his chair and talked to me for 35 minutes. Super nice guy. Super nice guy. Even if those stories are just stories. Yes, Derek, he probably will. I just watched the old Frazetta documentary last. I don't think I've ever seen that. My second biggest passion is either, if we're talking just things that I love, it's music, and then movies. Actually, comics is. I love comics, but if you were like, you could, like, if somebody said to me, you can never read comics again. You get to choose between comics and like Jaws and Spielberg movies and David Fincher movies. I take Spielberg and David Fincher movies over comics any day. No offense to comics. I love you comics, but movies will always be my number one, and music too. But the amount of times that I've reread a comic storyline versus listened to an album or a movie 50 times, it pales in comparison. Hello, Jonathan. For me, it'd be interview Claremont, but he's such a big talker. I'd like to interview Claremont at some point, but I would need to prep heavy for that because there's a lot of stuff I do want to talk to him about, and there's stuff that I don't care about. And it's just a personal thing. I'm going to Terrific Con in Heroes next year. Ryan, I will meet you at Heroes. West Coast Dave, do I ever watch Comics Rot Your Brain with Stephen Bagatori? No, I do know it, but I've never watched it. Did I get heated? A little bit. You're out of the club, Dave. Look, my first passion was filmmaking. I went to film school for a year, and I thought I wanted to be a filmmaker. And comics have always been in my life, but I got burned by comics so many times. And like, I worked in the comic industry for a little bit, and like, man, the comic industry is fucking evil. Not that the Hollywood is any, or the music business is any less evil. It's just comics are smaller. Yes. Sarah, I've seen her. I think she was at Heroes. I should look into that. It'd be nice to talk to her. What about Art Adams? I did say Eastman before. I asked Art Adams at Rose City last year, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know. Message me on Instagram. If I answer, that means yeah, I do an interview." I'm just like, I don't want to talk to somebody that has no interest in talking. I have not seen the Fablemans yet. The Assassins. I don't know what the Assassins is. You can't interview him. It's like reading his comics, but 10 times worse. He can't shut up. I met a guy at a local con and talked to him about 50 minutes, not once about comics. Later realized he was Jason Aaron. I love that. Aaron's a really nice guy. I had a conversation with him a couple years ago, and super nice guy. Yeah, I know. I would stay away from Kitty and Gamut. Yeah. Music business vet here and it's pit of darkness. Yeah, it really is. It really is. I have friends that have been in bands for 20, 25 years and it's bad. I mean, most of the entertainment industry is a dark pit. It really is. That's cool. That's cool. Yes, hit the like button. And then look, if you want to buy me a coffee or bagel, my PayPal and Venmo are down below. I don't monetize the channel. I will be back selling comics next week, so you know that. Kind of a bummer. Heroes is the same weekend as some. Is it? Did they announce that? Well, I guess I'm not doing SummerCon next year. Who needs it? I'll just do fucking. Here's what we'll do. I'll go to Heroes as as a fan, and then the weekend after Heroes, I'll just do a 2-day sale on my channel. There we go. Whatever the new Fincher's movie. Oh, the Killer. Killer was look. So here, Bill. That's the perfect. It's kind of like what I was talking about before. I watched The Killer. I'm a huge Fincher fan. I think Fincher's my favorite director after Spielberg. And the first time I watched The Killer, I thought it was okay. Even though the score was amazing and Fassbender is always amazing. And I'll watch it again. And I've seen it 4 times. And I think that movie's fantastic. So it was one of those movies that just needed some time to sink in and watch again. I guess so. Yeah, I guess, Chris. I really like the last TMNT movie a lot. I loved the first one as a kid. I tried to watch it when I was older, and it just didn't work for me anymore. I don't know. Maybe it was the rubber suits, or maybe I just wasn't in a good mood that day. Yes, I heard that too. Meth is a big comic collector. I think all of the guys in Wu-Tang were big comic collectors, but Meth is an insane collector. Heroes is the Comic-Con in June in Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh, see? There we go. Yeah. Roll up for doing a live. Awesome. Yeah, so whenever Dave EngerCon happens next year, guys, there's a possibility that it's going to happen at a different date. I have a project that I may be working on early next year that may take up a month of my time, and it's all related to this channel. But Dave EngerCon next year will definitely happen. It'll be 2 days. We'll do a live drawing stream for charity and all that goodness. And maybe we'll do one each day, because now I know a lot more people that are in that kind of like indie comics or comic artists, former artists, and artists in Hollywood, like Sarah Robert McCallum. Yes. San Francisco Giants was ground up. Is Will Clark still on the team? Yeah, could you imagine if I tried to interview all of the members of Wu-Tang? I wouldn't even know where to fucking start. You God, Method Man, ODB is no longer with us. The RZA, the Jizza, ODB. Yeah, I don't know. I loved it as a kid, but I tried to watch it again and it didn't work. Supposedly Method Man is 30. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. Eminem's a big comic collector too. Tyler, I don't know if there will ever be a physical Dave EngerCon. After talking to Kazra and about OAX, I don't know if I can handle putting together a physical con. By the way, sound off if you're going to OAX in January in Florida. That'll be my first con of the year. My plans are next year OAX, Heroes, Eddie P Con, and then depending on who's at Rose City or Emerald City, if I can get a free pass, I'll go to one of those or both of those. I talked to Rosario at Rose City. She said she doesn't really do podcasts, and we talked for another minute about, I said, I told her I'm from New York. She's from New York. We talked about that, and I said, yeah, I'm a talker. I'm in New York. I'm a born talker. And she's like, that's why I don't do podcasts. She said I talk too much. Eminem went comic shopping in A1 in Glasgow. Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. Next Wednesday, Chris, West Coast Wednesday will resume on October 20th, October, whatever next Wednesday is. But that'll be the next sale. So this weekend, guys, we're not going yet, but this weekend, my interview with Mannix, Abrera, and Jiggy Cruz drops. Now, you don't know the names. You might know the names. Mannix, I'm going to show you Mannix's artwork. Mannix, they're both Filipino, and Mannix is a cartoonist from the Philippines who has made a career. He's a daily strip cartoonist for the paper there. This is his artwork. So I interviewed him and Jiggy. Jiggy Cruz is the owner of Next Comic Art, also reps Mannix and 27 other artists. It's a great interview. Shot it a couple weeks ago. They're both going to be, Mannix and Jiggy are both going to be at New York Comic Con. Mannix just did a variant cover for Thundercats. He's doing another one for Thundercats. He's my age. He has been cartooning since he was a kid. His dad was a newspaper cartoonist in the Philippines. He did mostly political cartoons. I'm telling you, if you go onto Amazon and you buy a copy of Mannix's wordless cartoon strips, his first book was called 12 and his second book is called 14. It's some of the best comics I have ever read. In the style of, his influences are Bill Watterson and Gary Larson. He was also influenced by a lot of the 90s Marvel stuff like we all were. The interview's great. You're going to love it. And so I appreciate anybody watching that and sharing that around. So that interview's dropping this weekend. Next week, I don't know what I'm dropping. Oh, next weekend's my second interview with Daniel R. Johnson. We had a great time. He's one of the best dudes around. And then I'm doing this cool, well, I don't want to talk about it because it's not shot yet. So, but I am doing another video that's going to have a couple of familiar faces on it talking about horror movies. Let's do the giveaway for the Jim Lee Batman. So we'll do Lee Beefcake and hashtag Lee Beefcake for the Absolute Batman #1 Jim Lee cover. Speaking of Florida, anybody down there got an update on Milton? I talked to my parents today. They're in Lake Worth, so they didn't need to evacuate. They were going to put their hurricane shutters down. Most of the northern Florida is trying to evacuate, but I haven't heard anything otherwise. But yeah, I just hope everybody can stay as safe as they can. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people that don't have homes in Florida, and who knows how they're getting out of there. It's so fucked up. Yes, but I'm giving away a copy of Absolute Batman. If I don't have your address and you win, go to my website, westcoastadventures.com. Just fill out the form and say, hey, I won this. Or you can hit me up on Instagram. I just need your shipping address. But, look, I know I titled this DC's Better Than Marvel. I'm just talking about story-wise. Like, I can rattle off all these great DC stories that I love, and I can't rattle off too many Marvel stories. And I'm like, oh, this is the one. I just can't. I can't think of, besides Walt Simonson's Thor run and Jason Aaron's Thor run, you're talking about a character that's been around for 60 whatever years. 2 stories, 2 runs that are noted. I mean, I don't know. But if you're like Bill McGovern, you're going to send me a whole bunch of books for me to read that are Grant Morrison, you guys can send me whatever you want. I'll read it. Derek Neiman sends me books all the time, and I'm reading as much as I can. It can't rain all the time. Your tears won't fall forever. Speaking of, did anybody watch the new Crow movie? Because I don't know anybody that saw it. I have no desire to see it. I would never spit on the grave of Brandon Lee by watching something else. Steve Root did a Thor series. I didn't know that. By the way, hashtag Beefcake. I'm going to give this out in just a minute. How bad was it, Leon? I want to see it so bad. It was stunningly bad. It looked really bad. You know what looked really bad about it? The digital blood. I don't like movies that do digital blood. So I already talked about God Loves Man Kills. I know we've talked about it before on this program. There's a lot you don't know. Nobody ever brings up Crow as a comics movie either. I mean, there is a reason why there are so many. I think the Crow is the reason why Blade exists, not the fact that the character exists, obviously, but the fact that they went and they made that movie is because of the success of The Crow, right? Doesn't Blade come out a couple years after The Crow? Am I getting my timeline right? Grendel's a great book. Matt Wagner. Hell yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes, it didn't need to be made. That's right. You did tell me that. All right, let's give this away real quick. Hashtag Lee Beefcake. Lee Beefcake. I'm close, Matt. I really like Grendel. I'm close. Okay. Oh, you mean with the blade? All right. Let me share the screen here. Let's do the giveaway, so I don't have to hold this comic up anymore, and then we could talk about more movies and comics. Hashtag Lee Beefcake. Cake, not case. In 5, in 4, in 3, in 2. We'll wait a second for lag. In 1. Okay, here we go. And here we go. Dan, I didn't see Beetlejuice just because I didn't. I'll see it eventually. It just doesn't. Hey, there he is. The Hooch wins it. I just don't think I didn't need another Beetlejuice movie. But you know, I know a lot of people liked it, so I'll check it out when it comes out for free. All right, so one other things that I really wanted to say about this whole holy shirt balls, you're a winner. One of the other things I wanted to say about this whole Joker fiasco. Now, I know some people did see it, you know, but I watched a clip that everybody's been posting about Todd Phillips being like, well, I don't, you know, we shouldn't be answering to the fans. Like, I'm interested to what people think about when a director or writer says we're not trying to please the fans, we're just making a movie. Like, Deadpool Wolverine, completely fan service, and it was great for that. And it was a fun romp. It was an action movie. It was bloody. It was fun. Was it a good movie? No. Was it a fun fucking movie? Yes. And there's places for that. But like art's supposed to be made for the artist's sake. Oh my God, the roof just blew off the Jesus Christ. Artists are supposed to make art. Like, they're supposed to make what they want to make. Like, fan service never works in the long run. It doesn't, because people will end up hating it for some other reason. Just look at everything that's happened with Star Wars. They tried to make a fan-friendly movie with Force Awakens. People did shit on that, even though most people liked it. I liked it. Like, no matter what happens, if you make movies for the fans in fan service, it's never going to turn out that good. Like, Wolverine Deadpool works because it's Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. That plot of that movie does not make sense at all. Anyway, hold on. What are your thoughts on the supposed Goonies sequel? Please, no. Don't take lightning in a bottle and try and replicate it 40 years later. I do want to see Megalopolis, and I have no preconceived notions of it. Like, Coppola hasn't made a movie in almost in the span of my adulthood, Coppola hasn't made that many movies. So I'll see it. Yeah, I don't know. Like, music's one of those rare exceptions where you can make something that works 30 years later. Without like looking to please the fans, but if you get into like that energy space and you make an album and it stands up as good as like an album you made 30 years prior, but movies and comics and fan service don't really work either. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, Amber, I'm not questioning that movie shouldn't have been loved. I'm questioning was that plot of that movie made no fucking sense whatsoever. But it made the billions of dollars because all they did was make a comic book. That's fine. That's cool. But like, if every movie was made like that, we'd all start hating them very quickly. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy. Like if you're making a Deadpool versus Wolverine comic book, unless somebody that's like a Mark Miller could probably make a really good storyline and also put tons of action in there. But a guy like Rob Liefeld cannot make a good story. Like he cannot write a very good storyline, but he can make like kinetic energy and great action sequences and stuff. And that movie was just great for what it was. Bunch of fucking great dirty jokes, lots of blood, lots of violence, lots of fun. But if you're talking Logan and Deadpool versus Wolverine, this is where Logan is in terms of like, is it a great movie with a great story, tons of emotion? But that and at no point did I dislike Deadpool 3. I just gotta call it like it is. Tarantino makes no, I disagree with that. Tarantino makes movies for fans of the movies that he's a fan of. The Fragile, there you go. But even more so, like if we're talking about like Nine Inch Nails albums, that like With Teeth is a fantastic album, and even Hesitation, like, well, Trent Reznor doesn't make bad music. That's a bad example. But I get what you're trying to say, Andrew. I was thinking more along the lines of Dookie and then American Idiot, made 10 years apart, and American Idiot's one of the greatest of a generation. But when it comes to movies, like here's a great example of a comic book property that was made with the fans in mind, but also made with the care of the source material by, I'm talking about Sandman. Like Sandman, it took some liberties to change some things, but Gaiman put as much into that care-wise for himself as he did the fans. So the source material was super respected. My favorite comic book movie is Sin City, The Crow. If we go a little bit out towards the sidelines of comics, Road to Perdition, the Nolan trilogy. It's really tough, but it's like stuff like that. My favorite Marvel movie is going to be Infinity War, because like that's my favorite storyline, or my second favorite storyline, and Logan. It's No Bad Hair Day. He keeps spending most our lives living in an Amish paradise. we churn butter once. Tarantino's. I love Quentin Tarantino. Absolutely. Growing up is realizing Green Day's comeback album came out 9 years after Dookie. Well, the thing is, but then their new album's also fantastic. Like they hit their stride every once in a while, and but as a live band, they've never lost a step whatsoever. Anyone read the Kiss comics with that blood in the ink? Those are there musicians that made good comics. I mean, people love Amory Wars and Claudio Sanchez, and they love that band. So, speaking of fan service, what are your thoughts about Doom being played by Downey? Whatever they're going to do, I'm sure it's going to be interesting. I'm all for it. Yeah, I mean, I have different moods for different favorite comic movies, but I think Sin City, because my friend Larry gave me the first Sin City book to read when I was probably 18 or 19, somewhere in there, like in the late 90s, early 2000s. And so I read it and I loved it. And then I read all of the other Sin City books. And then that movie came out. And I'm like, this is exactly what the comic book is on screen. Like Rodriguez and Miller made a 10 out of 10. And the cast was 10 out of 10. Fritz the Cat, there you go. Some Ralph Bakshi goodness. Although Crumb hates that movie. History of Violence is a great one. Bill, I need to see Ghost World again. I saw it when it came out. I can't tell you I remember a thing about it, except that I enjoyed it, but I can't remember a thing about it. Well, I appreciate that, Nicholas. Road to Perdition. Yeah, Road to Perdition is one of those movies where, like, first off, Paul Newman is not our generation. He's our parents' generation. And I understood why he was, like, just in that one movie. And then Jude Law is fantastic. And then obviously Hanks and his son are fantastic. Wait, was that Hanks' son that played his son in the movie? I feel like it is, but I couldn't remember. No, it's not. It's somebody else. Okay. What comic has the most profound impact on my life? Sandman, 100%. Sandman. I'm maybe Preacher, which is I am a very anti-religious person, or yeah, whatever, atheist, agnostic. I just not a big fan of organized religion. Yes, back she is. I want to see the new Hellboy movie. I love the first one. I love the second one. I didn't bother with the one with David Harbour because it didn't look interesting to me. But I'm just bummed that this movie isn't coming into the theaters. Crumb hates almost everything. He loves jazz and vinyl. Popeye the movie. All right, Chris, calm down there. Actually, I feel like I saw that movie when I was a kid. Is it really? Rob, it's funny. I have that sitting in a box. I've been waiting to read it. I just it's low on the stack right now. I like the Constantine movie, even though it's different than the vibe of the comic, but I still enjoyed it. His son is the guy who plays. Oh, okay. All right, Chuck. Yeah, he was a kid, so that's pretty interesting. I've never watched the new Superman, the new Lois and Superman show or whatever it's called. But I think it's funny that he has a 5 o'clock shadow because it's like he looks like if Superman came. He looks like hungover Superman, even though I know that like everybody really likes that show. Tank Girl was fun. I'd love to see that movie done as an animated movie with Hewlett in charge. Different actor, okay. Crumb likes big butts. That is true. He does. Not chill. Did Vince Locke do the History of Violence? Yes, he did. And it was it's in my garage, so I can't go get it. But it was in that format. It's like this big. It's like a novel size, actually. Harbour's movie stunk, unfortunately. Yeah, I just didn't have any desire to see it. I think I watched the first 5 minutes and just shut it off. Popeyes. I don't remember the movie. Spooky season movie wise. Well, I'm going to be doing a video about that, but modern horror, The Witch, Hereditary. I don't consider Midsummer to be a horror movie, but you could. I think it's more of just a mindfuck suspense. It Follows, or I just watched When Evil Lurks last night. That is a fucked up masterpiece. Yeah, those are my recommendations. I watch Halloween, the original, every year on Halloween, and I like traditions like that. And I typically watch The Crow on Devil's Night, but The Crow's not a horror movie. I honestly thought you were going with ElfQuest and Most Profound. That is Most Profound. Robin Williams made Popeye. Well, Robin Williams made everything great. You want to talk about what movie came? Okay. It's weird that we're going to talk about Robin Williams right now because I was thinking about Death to Smoochie today, and I think that's an underrated comedy gem. And I know Bill loves that fucking movie, and we've never talked about it before. But then I was looking at, I wonder I thought maybe Edward Norton directed Death to Smoochie, and my mind was blown today when I realized it was Danny DeVito directed Death to Smoochie. And then I was looking, and I didn't realize that Danny DeVito directed like 5 or 6 movies. He directed Matilda, and a couple others, but Danny DeVito directed Death to Smoochie. Okay, so is Terrifier a series or is the third movie the first movie? Because I'm hearing a lot about it, but I've never seen a Terrifier. Late Night with the Devil was really cool. I still haven't seen that movie. See, David Dastmalchian should stay in the movies. He should stay away from comics because did anybody read Knights vs. Samurai? Because holy dog shit, Batman. Cool. Yeah, I definitely want to check it out. Awesome. Classic. Carpenter. The King. Darkman was good. Yeah, that's Sam Raimi, early Sam Raimi. Well, who doesn't love Danny? If you don't like Danny DeVito, move to Russia or something. See? I knew it, Bill. I knew it. Okay, so it is the third. Yeah, I've never seen Terrifier 1 or 2. So, anyway, so yeah, spooky movies. Hereditary. It's probably the last movie to really fuck with me, although The Witch did too. I love The Witch. Shout out to anybody in Washington. The Witch, there will be no chat and chill in 2 weeks. But if you want to meet up The Witch is playing at the Pacific Center IMAX, the Science Center IMAX in Seattle. I will be going because I love that movie, and I can't wait to see it on a screen that's 5 stories large, tall, whatever. You're like the Era's Max Headroom car. Yeah, I feel like that. You know what, Byron? I can do this once a week, but after that, like I would need a co-host. Frank just beat the Russians last season. Except they really need to fix the wrench in the hand when Michael smashes the car window. I forget about that. I'm not into horror, but I'm watching either Man Wolf 2 or something else that era. Man Wolf. What's Man Wolf? Man Wolf. What's everybody else's favorite recent horror movies or spooky movies? What's your favorite horror comic? Can we talk about? Well, we're going to be talking about Dracula. Kelly Jones, Matt Wagner. Awesome. So good. There's people getting impaled on multiple pages. Yes. The next Robert Eggers movie, Nosferatu looks really good. I enjoyed The Witch, obviously. I enjoyed The Lighthouse. I enjoyed I need to see the Northman again. I did enjoy it the first time. Science, that dude, that still trips me up. Yeah, where it just walks right by and they're filming on the camera. Swing away, Meryl, swing away. Yes, Nosferatu looks great. Yes, Mignola's adaptation of Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula is fantastic. But I will say this, Bill, the Matt Wagner, Kelly Jones one puts that to shame. Fear and supernatural thrillers. Scream's a classic. Scream's a classic. I talked about that on a recent podcast episode. Once again, podcast is called Direct Edition. You can follow it on YouTube. You can follow it on Spotify, Apple, Amazon. You can rate it. You can help me grow it. You could be like, hey, Dave, I know Mike McCready of Pearl Jam. I'm going to put you in touch with him and you can interview him on your podcast. Crimes of the Future. You know what? I missed the last 3 Cronenberg movies. I did see his son's first movie, Possessor. That movie's on a different shelf of fucked up movie. But I still need to see Possessor. I never saw Map to the Stars, Megalopolis, or whatever it was called. The 2 he did with what's his fucking name? Why can't I remember fucking Batman's name? Oh wow. Senior moment. Werewolf by Midnight. That's a comic. Arcadian with Nick Cage. I don't think I saw that. I saw the last Nick Cage movie I saw was the Benny's Arcade or whatever it was called, but his the whatchamacallit movie he did, Color Out of Space, Lovecraft movie. That one was wild. I've never seen Cellar Dweller. Heretic does look really good, and I don't want to watch another trailer for it because I don't want to figure out any of that story. Correlation in what horror genre is popular and culture based on what everyone's fearing. Yeah, it's always. We're going to see some interesting horror movies probably in the next 5 years. Come down there, Tyler. I don't want to take that wrench and shove it up your ass. DC question. Okay, the Icelandic singing lady who sings to Aquaman in the Snyder Cut is played by the actress who played Patricia Wayne in Pennyworth. Callum, I never watched most of Aquaman. Oh, in the Snyder Cut. You know, I can't remember who played Patricia Wayne in Pennyworth because that's what I've never watched, Pennyworth. But yeah, they might be the same character. That would be really funny. 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, classic. TCM 2 is even better. You would say that. Mandy's great. Yeah, Mandy's great. I saw it in the theater. That movie was a trip. I didn't know you worked on that. It's about horror comics coming to life. Ooh, I don't know that at all, Chris. That's pretty cool. The original is great. I got to meet Eddie Vedder on the set of Fat Kid Rules the World in 20. That's pretty fucking cool. I met him in 2005 and 6. Super sweet guy. 90s disaster movies. Dude, we are living in a 90s disaster movie. Yeah, remember when it was competing disaster movies? Yeah, it was Dante's Peak and Inferno, Armageddon, Deep Impact. I feel like did they do something after, like Day After Tomorrow? Did that have, a competing Ice Age movie? I don't give a fuck about Aquaman. I'm sorry, Bill. Twister, yeah, there you go. Twister was great. Saw 2 about a decade before I ever saw 1. Was surprised about how I don't remember anything about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Excited for 28 years later. Dude, 28 Days Later is a classic. 28 Weeks Later was like, it was brutal. I am totally excited for Boyle and Cillian Murphy to get back together. Maximum Overdrive's a great one. The Abyss finally got a director's cut too. The Abyss director's cut's fantastic. 2012. Oh yes, that's right. 2012 was the competing movie. You're right. I like to think that the Wesley socialite Patricia Waits. I love that. I love that when those theories pop up of like a movie character being the same, like because Tarantino put that into everybody's head for decades with like his universe, with the apples, the cigarettes, and the certain things. I love it when somebody comes up with a theory that this character is this character or whatever, and they're the same person. I watched the first Aquaman movie and I fell asleep. Dude, TCM3, no, isn't that the one with Matthew McConaughey in it? Or is that The Next Generation or whatever the fuck it was called? Yeah, Aquaman's garbage. The Shining is still, to me, my favorite. I think that's the scariest movie of all time. And it's probably my favorite in the horror genre, where it's definitely my top 5. But that movie still scares the shit out of me. It gets into my brain every time I watch it. It's just something about the "you've always been here," like the whole kind of like, it's really tough to tell what's real and what's not, or if any of it's real. I love, the psychology of that movie. Dr. Sleep was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Dude, Event Horizon, you're going to hear certain comic artists, and we're going to have a conversation about that, but it is a traumatizing movie. The Thing, 1982, classic. The Thing remake, which Rob worked on, not your fault, Rob. Lynch classics, Blue Velvet's classic. Mulholland, I still don't understand, but I love Lost Highway, which I also kind of do and don't understand, like dual personality type thing. Twin Peaks, David Lynch. I'm sorry you have emphysema, but I'm glad you lived your life like you wanted to. Sorry, excuse me. Good night, Rob. A lot of people love that movie. That's a movie I need to watch again. I never bothered with paranormal, but Blair Witch, pioneer. That movie is a fucking pioneer of a movie. Yes, Event Horizon. If you don't like that movie, don't talk to me or my son ever again. Fire Walk with Me. Love it. All right. Sean's here. Maybe we should just end. Weren't all the stories about how Kubrick traumatized Shelley Duvall? I don't know. Were they? She just passed away too, right? Rob, did you force him to redo the whole thing with CJ? I think he left. Dawn of the Dead's a classic. The original is like the zombie movie. I am one of those people that did enjoy Zack Snyder's. Well, no, one of those people. A lot of people enjoy that movie. I think what he did to reinvent that movie was really cool. But I know a lot of people hate it. Like, oh, Fast Zombies. Like, let the dude do it. You can make fun of his Snyderverse stuff if you want. We were just talking about horror movies. Mouth of Madness is a classic. Love me some Sam Neill. Too bad all the cast of Blair Witch got taken advantage of. Yeah, I heard that recently. Like they had come out with talking about that. It is a damn good movie. That movie fucked so many people up, and the way that the marketing was for that movie was just absolutely brilliant. The Notebook, Jesus Christ, redacted or retracted? I don't know. Maybe retracted. Little Monster scares me. Gremlin scared me as a kid. It does not scare me anymore. Wait, Callum, is Mortal Kombat his best film? Mortal Kombat! Fight! I'm not going to do it. Kano. Liu Kang. All right, I won't. Dark. I've had friends say that same thing, Chris, that they were terrified of Dark Crystal as kids. Maybe you still are. Day of the Dead, I never liked it as much as Dawn, but I still like it. It's weird. I love that it's such a weird movie compared to, to everything else. I don't blame you, Nick. Shiny is especially fun if you visited the Stanley Hotel outside, or the hotel up by in what the hell's the name of the one that they did the exterior shots? It's in Oregon by what's the fucking name? Somebody put the name of the hotel in Oregon by Mount Hood, because they filmed the exterior there. Blair Witch, yes. Yeah, I knew what you were talking about. Retracted, okay. The Fly or the original House of Wax. I've never seen the original House of Wax. The Fly is a great movie. Not scary, though. It's just gross. Soldier Hotel? Soldier Boy Tell 'Em? Oh, Soldier, the movie Soldier. Oh, is that Kurt Russell? I think. Yes, I had the Mortal Kombat soundtrack. I fucking love that movie. All right, Jacob, it's a great movie, but it's not better than Jaws. Hi. Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Sub-Zero. I mean, I could deal with being married to Mila Jovovich, just making weird ass Resident Evil flicks for them. Yeah, true. The Overlook. Is that actually the name of it, Chris? The hotel next to Mount Hood, or is that the name of the hotel? I can't remember. Prince of Darkness is great. Timberline Lodge. Okay, here we go. Lost Boys is awesome. That is a classic one, filmed in Santa Rosa. I've been to the town. I can't remember the name. Santa Clara? No, it's not Santa Clara. Changeling, classic ghost story. You know what movie I really wanted to rewatch recently? Maybe I'll do it tonight. The Others, the one with Nicole Kidman. I remember really liking that movie when it came out. So, funny story, Amber. The second time I saw that movie, I was visiting my friend at college in Ohio. I smoked some weed that his friends had upstairs. They grew it themselves. And then I went down because I went down to my friend's dorm room to go to sleep because I'd driven from New York that day. It was like a 10-hour drive or whatever. And my friend comes down like an hour and a half later. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm watching the Blair Witch Project." Nope, I was watching the DVD menu for an hour and a half that was just on a loop with the broadcast. Weed. Bone Tomahawk's classic. Yeah, modern classic. Fucking. I was supposed to have him on the program. It might actually happen at some point, but S. Craig Zoller. I had some communication with him. He's a big comic guy. He's a big comic collector. He's a comic creator. He's done 2 books. And he's a big original art collector. He's a writer. He's a musician and a director. I think he's making his next movie right now, so I probably won't have him on the program until that's done. Long live the Pork Chop Express. What is it? It's no. I can't remember that. I don't know. It was something like this. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, you were The Overlook is the name of the hotel. Okay. Kurt Russell was amazing in it. Santa Cruz. Thank you, Calvin Yedimus. I don't remember it. I remember liking it though. I just don't remember it. Yes, they do. That I know. I've been to that store. I can't remember the name of it either. DVD menus were the best. Yes. DVDs were the best when they first started with the commentaries and all the good stuff. Yeah. Joe at Atlantis. Okay. Sleepy Hollow. I like Sleepy Hollow. I love Burton's first 7 movies or whatever. Everything after Big Fish is kind of questionable, but everything up to Big Fish. The Ring menu, oh, dude. DVD menus could fuck with you. They really could. Yeah, Easter eggs, the term Easter egg came from DVDs, right? Like it was never, well, obviously aside from the holiday, Easter, but Easter eggs came from DVD menus. Or correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. I watched the first 15 minutes of Inception for an hour and a half because it kept skipping being I love that shit. Village of the Damned, that was a Carpenter. I don't remember much about it. I feel like that movie and Children of the Corn are pretty much the same the same, what word am I looking for? The same premise. There we go. And Reanimator, I don't remember. I don't know if I've ever seen it. Peter Jackson, Bad Taste, Dawn of the Dead Alive. Mm-hmm. The Frighteners, even though it's not a scary movie, I still that movie still has a place in my heart because it was the last movie that I think Michael J. Fox was in for a long time, if period. Premise, yes. I got there. Sleepy Hollow was great. I love Walken. Christopher Walken is the Hessian. Yes, that was a Tarzan Singh movie. And then his other movie, The Fall, just got a 4K restoration, I believe. Watch Psycho every day. That remake was horrible, shot for shot. Oh, that was the one that Vince Vaughn and Anne Heche was in, directed by Gus Van Sant. Yeah, I watched it once. I don't fucking remember enjoying it. Meet the Feebles. Yeah, the best movie ever made. The grossest fucking movie ever made. That's the one with Jeffrey. He was in The Frighteners. Jeff. What's his last name? He's in all the Lovecraft movies. Jeffrey. Someone will put his name in the chat. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Classic. I'll see it at some point. I mean, the movie's been out for like 30 years. So. Was it any good, Sean? I remember like enjoying it, but also being like, yeah, it's you see it once, like it'll never be scary again. Oh, okay. All right. There you go. So it was in Atari games. They Live, Chew Gum and Kick Ass. Bubblegum and Kick Ass. Yeah, the costume design of that movie was fantastic. From Beyond the Castle, Freak 2, Dragon as a CG. Oh, okay. I don't know those movies. Favorite horror, Return of the Living Dead, classic. The Horse, yeah, that's right. How many soldiers did it be? 17. You love that movie, Colin. But hey, look, we all have to. Look. That's how I feel about Time Cop. Time Cop. I can fucking recite half that movie right now. Jeffrey Combs, thank you. The Hills Have Eyes was a great remake. I don't remember anybody that was in that except for what's her name that played the Australian chick in Lost. But yeah, that's a brutal fucking movie. The classic Nightmare on Elm Street's great. The slasher films are great. I think if I were to pick one, I'd have to go with Hellraiser. But Hellraiser 2 is a better movie plot-wise, and then Halloween. I love the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street movies, but they all kind of blend in together. But they are all classic in my heart. Yes. By the way, did you guys know it's Shrek month, apparently? And McFarlane's releasing a Shrek figure, which I must get because Shrek is love. Shrek is life. Dagon was Lovecraft, okay. Kids are terrifying. Well, that's why Gage in Pet Sematary is the single most terrifying character in a movie of all time. I don't care what you say. That little fucker hiding under the bed with the scalpel. Tell me there's any deeper way to get into somebody's psyche than thinking about that little shit Gage. Starship Troopers need some love. I mean, that's sci-fi. That's not horror. That's a World War II metaphor, baby. But it's a great movie. Jeffrey Combs is a modern Vincent Price. I can't disagree with that. Man's been in every, like, almost every Lovecraft movie. Time Cop is classic. I think either that or Hard Target are my two favorite Van Damme movies. In Violent Nature, yeah, I do want to watch that. I do want to watch that. We were talking about that, Sean. By the way, we talked last night while I was watching When Evil Works. So Exorcist is a classic. Never ceases to scare the shit out of me. So me after watching Creepshow 2, dude, I remember watching that as a kid. Creepshow is a great movie. Creepshow 2 is great. They're fun. Those anthology movies were always fun. Tales from the Dark Side, Tales from the Hood, Tales from the Crypt, anything with tales in it. Well, yes, I remember playing the first Resident Evil and then the second Resident Evil, and I'm just like, why am I still playing these games? I am literally traumatizing myself. I know a lot of you are probably going to be like, why not? I never got into the Silent Hill movies, games, but I want to, because I know the new Silent Hill 2 just came out. Do we call Last of Us horror? I don't think so, even though it is fucking wild. Double Impact, there's two of them. Great movie. I would say that would be rounding out my three favorite Van Damme movies would be Double Impact. Joyride was a fun one. That was with what's her name? Gorgeous. She retired from acting pretty much. Can't remember her name. She was the young. She was in the last Kubrick movie. Why can't I remember it? I can remember her face. Anyway. Let's go. Demon Knight, baby. Bordello of Blood. Friday the 13th for NES. You're dead. That was I think I saw the Quest once, Colin, but I can only remember the poster. Can only remember the poster. Tales from the Dark Side of Terrifying Me. It does not hold up. Yeah, I can imagine. Doom 3 was a terrifying game. Resident Evil 2 is absolutely bananas. Yes. Remember when Tyrant comes out for the first time? You're like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? That's my reaction to when I think it was Tyrant came out the first time in that game. Playing Last of Us 1 and 2. Yeah, dude, Last of Us. Perfect game. I'm ready for Last of Us is with Starship Troopers. Last of Us is gonna get a replay probably in a month or so. I'll do both. And then I'll watch the new season. Yes, Lily Sobieski. Thank you. Eyes Wide Shut. Yes, she was in Eyes Wide Shut. Lily Sobieski. I loved her. Had the biggest crush on her. Most traumatizing DVD I saw was Gigi Allen. Well, that's because it's Gigi Allen. He's not meant for normalcy. Alan Wake. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about picking up. I remember watching my friend play the first one. And it's a trip. And John, Criterion Comics, he loved the new one. I have not. Silent 2 remake just came out. Yeah, that's. I watched a full trailer of that the other day, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that to myself. The remake of Resident Evil 2, yeah. I think Last of Us 2 is the greatest game in my eyes, my opinion. I think it's the greatest game ever made. I stepped away from gaming from like 2015 to about 2020 because I had really bad nerve damage in both of my hands. That was from sitting at a desk job and damaging both my ulnar nerves, and so I had to stop playing video games. And then after I got a job at the post office during the pandemic, I was like, you know what? I'm going to treat myself to a PS4 because I've heard about Last of Us and Last of Us 2 is coming out. I'm like, I want to play both games. And I fucking fell in love with both of those games. And I don't play too many different video games, but Last of Us 1 and 2, God of War, Ragnarok was okay, and then Spider-Man 2. That's really all I've played in the last 5 years. Urban Legend's a ridiculous movie, but yes. That comes with like the new teen slashers that came out, like obviously pioneered by Scream. I Know What You Did Last Summer. There was a couple others. I will say this, and I don't know if anybody's seen the last two Scream movies, but I really enjoyed them. I've seen them both twice. They're ridiculous, but they're fun. All right, Byron. Good luck. Appreciate you. And good luck with stupid jury duty. Just vote guilty. Who cares? Don't do that. Dude, what are you talking about? Hereditary is like, I said it before, Sean. I think that's the scariest movie to come out this side of, I don't know, 2010. That movie's a trip and a half. Yeah, no. I mean, no, because like it's my fault. Like they don't teach you in school when they teach you like I'm Joe, we're both old enough to know that like they taught computers typing in school. They don't teach you posture. I went to public school. They don't fucking teach you like it is very important how you sit and use a computer, otherwise you will damage your body beyond belief. That's interesting. I didn't know that they released that game. Forgot Night of the Demons. I don't know that movie. Or is that a game? 10th anniversary of that is I guess was this week. Alien Isolation. Yeah, they were. Last of Us 2, I won't touch. I won't prove how the developers were made to watch real footage of being killed for this. Jesus, that I did not know. That's wild. Yeah, it's a brutal game. It's an unforgiving game. Oh, fair enough. That makes sense. Yeah, I used to be an Xbox guy, and then I got a PlayStation. I used to love Xbox. I'm going to give you guys a rundown of my gaming history. Atari NES, Super Nintendo Genesis. I had them both. Don't think I had Sega CD. No. Nintendo 64, PlayStation, PS2, Xbox, Dreamcast, skip PS3, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS4, PS5. And there we go. Kinetic tape, have someone tape your shoulders. I mean, I'm fine now, Nick. I did physical therapy. I learned like the stretches to do if it ever becomes a problem. I got this thing saved my life, the trackball mouse. But for a bunch of years, it was really fucking bad. Like I can't. My hands lock up in weird places when it gets bad. Andrew, good evening. Still going strong, 2 hours and 18 minutes. Y'all have been great. This has been a lot of fun tonight. 2 seasons of Hereditary are unwatchably scary. Yes. 100%. Yeah. Exactly. You when you watch that movie a second time, you start to realize certain things about stuff that's happening in the background, or foreshadowing, or stuff that's clearly there, but you don't notice until you know the whole movie. Yeah, it is amazing. Yeah, I did not have a TurboGrafx 16, but Leon, I had a friend, Greg, who his dad was like a lawyer. And he was wealthy. And I think his dad worked with somebody in the gaming industry or something. And this kid, Greg, would get all of the systems as they came out. He had a fucking Neo Geo. He had TurboGrafx. So I like played all that stuff, but I never owned any of those wild systems like Sega CD when it first came out, and Sega 32X. I did have, I think one of the most underrated systems. The Sega, was it the Nomad? Yeah, it was the portable Genesis. That thing I owned twice in my life, and it was like the most fun until I got bored of it. Yeah, Dreamcast was great. First game, Seaman. I would kill that motherfucker all the time. A Jaguar. Yeah, he had a Jaguar too. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Was an Atari system, right? Atari Jaguar. Game Gear was the portable system, but Nomad was the portable Genesis, I think, or do I have it mixed up? Where like you could play Genesis games, like pop them right in. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, Sega CD was badass. Virtua Fighter was an amazing game. That was like the big game when that came out, I believe. Do you believe in life after love? All right. So N64. Okay, so yes, N64 came out in 1997, 96, 97. I wasted almost an entire year of college playing GoldenEye with my floor mates. But goddamn, that system was so good. Like Mario games are great and all that stuff, but GoldenEye was the shit. The original the original It's great. The first part of the remake was excellent. I saw the second part once, and I will never watch it again. It was a giant waste of time. All the characters, like all of their personality traits, changed in that movie from the get go. I was like, "What's happening?" No odd job. That's right. No odd job because of the chops, the crotch. You mean in the second movie? Not really. No. I didn't like. I thought Bill Skarsgård was great as Pennywise in both movies, but the second one just fell flat for me. The first one was great. It is a chill stream. Oh, it's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Don't bother, Bill. Although with your weird taste, you'll be like, the second one was so good. I'm surprised nobody said anything when I was talking about Gage. Did anyone mention? Oh, okay. You know what? I was gonna mention that last night when we were talking, Sean. REC. I thought it was just gonna be another like found footage, whatever. Was great. And then REC 2 comes out, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna watch the sequel. REC 2, next to Empire Strikes Back, might be the greatest sequel of all time. Because, and I'm not gonna spoil it, it's not a super well-known movie. I mean, it's it made money or whatever. But if you've never seen REC 2, watch the first one. And then the second one, you think it's gonna go this way, and it's just like, no, I'm gonna take a right turn and change everything about what this movie's about, and you're gonna fucking sit there and you're gonna love it. REC 2, maybe the best sequel of all time next to Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, that was pretty bad. I have not seen Long Legs yet. I do want to see it. Nor have I seen Long Kegs, but no, I do want to see Long Legs. A lot of people liked it. Some people didn't like it, but I do want to see it. Osgood Perkins, Blackcoat's Daughter was really good. I forget what else he directed, but yeah, I do want to see it. Yeah, I definitely didn't like 4, and I don't remember really loving 3. Is 3 the one at the wedding? I know it's a bold statement, but Leon, here's the thing. Like Two Towers, it's hard for me to consider Two Towers like a proper sequel. It's part of a known story, whereas, Empire at the time, like, wasn't part of a known story. But what REC 2 does is just completely, you think this movie's about something, and then it just changes direction, and it's better than the original. Watch it unless you have, and then you don't need to watch it. I never bothered with Starship Troopers 2. If Verhoeven didn't direct it, I don't fucking want to watch it. Okay, it was the wedding one. Best sequel is Back to the Future 2. Great sequel. Definitely in the runnings. Can't discount Gremlins 2. Can't discount Gremlins 2. They made they swung. They didn't even swing for the fences. Gremlins 2 is like, we're going to purposefully strike out, and they hit a home run. Does not make any sense, but that movie's fantastic. You have to. Leon, let me know. All right. It's almost 9:30, which means it's almost the witching hour somewhere. So this Sunday, I need everybody to watch that Mannix interview. Watch the stuff, hit the like button. Hold on one sec before we even closing statements or anything. We are almost at 250 people until we hit 5,000. There's gonna be a nice little couple of nice giveaways for the 5,000 subscriber show. T2 is probably top 3 sequels of all time. I misspoke. It's definitely better than RDC2. What am I saying? I didn't even know that existed until I was on Netflix the other day. I was like, wait, what? Has anybody watched the Terminator anime? I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know. But I would love to hear if it's good or if it's not worth watching. I think Rosario Dawson does a voice in there. Anywho, Direct Edition podcast, new episode next week. New episode this Sunday, the Mannix interview. I'll be back slinging those books next Wednesday. Be a nice big show. Godfather 2. Not Jaws 2, though. Jaws 2 is okay. First episode was real nice. I forgot to get one. Cyberpunk Edge Runners is very good. Okay. I watched the first episode. That's on HBO, not on Netflix, but I heard somebody said that there was a real big decline in the animation in the second one, but I still want to watch the second episode. First episode was great. Sharknado 2. Awesome. Yes, it was great. I want more also, Bill. But before we get going, don't forget to hit the like button. If you feel like buying me a coffee or a bagel, I put my PayPal and Venmo. I don't like asking people for money, but like, you know, I super chat in Ink Pulp Live just because, like, you know, I don't know. And the reason why I don't do monetization of the stream or super chats, Google takes fucking 30%. Let's stop giving our money to the corporations. Okay, folks, if you can help it. I will definitely check it out at some point. I definitely want to check it out. Right now, there's a lot to watch, or at least there's a decent amount to watch. Penguin, WandaVision, Agatha. I like Only Murderers in the Building because give me more Steve Martin and Martin Short. Yeah, dude, 30%, 30% Google takes. So when you super chat somebody or you send them a sticker, they only get 70% of that money. Google takes 30%. So remember, folks, if you can help it, just, you know, support people directly. The Kickstarter for Ma Food is up. Still got about 2 weeks to go, 3 weeks to go. Switchblade Shorties has about 2 weeks to go. That's still up. And the Dracula 2 graphic novel from Kelly Jones and Matt Wagner just it's got 24 days to go or 25 days to go. So they're just doing it through the month of October. But support your local creators. Support your LCS. If you're gonna buy comics, you can scoop up some stuff from your LCS. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about or ask me? This weekend the Mannix interview drops Sunday morning. We're back to the Sunday morning drops, but Halloween week there's going to be like 5 videos, one a day or one every other day or something like that. I don't know how I'm going to roll it out. I actually have to get the calendar out and figure that out. I'm sorry to hear that, Tyler. Then don't support them. Support your local Dave, your LCD sound system, your local comic Dave. Derek Neiman's a purple man. Derek Neiman is the purple man. All right, everybody. I think that's going to be all for tonight. Don't forget to hit the like button. I'd love to have these streams have as many people as the sales. So you know, once we crack that 5K, we're going for fucking 10. Yeah. And if you have any questions for Kelly Jones and Matt Wagner or Becky Cloonan, you can feel free to shoot me a DM. That's right. You know that you've been posted about that too. Scotty Massage is the yes, he is the Lava Ventures Purple Massage, Purple Teeth Umbrella teacher. Sorry, yeah, but you can watch the replay. I've been on for 2.5 hours. This is actually the longest solo sit down I've done in a while. There will not be a sit down Wednesdave Chat and Chill on the 23rd, but maybe I'll make it up by doing it on Thursday. Since Maddie's no longer on Thursday nights for now, I don't feel like I'm stealing any of his people. Everybody have a great night. Derek, I appreciate you. I give you peace. I give you love. I give you metal. Eh? Fuck it. All right, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your week. I'll be around. Stop by, say hello. Stop by, say goodbye. Do whatever it is that you want to do. And, everybody have a great night. The winners will win. The piecers are peace. I'll talk to y'all soon. Maybe you'll see me on Instagram this weekend selling some comic books in.
West Coast Avengers. West Coast Avengers.
There's only one mantra that you all need to know. That's that one over there. See Todd, bye Todd.